Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. 4 to 5 on a bank holiday Monday. I'd normally be talking that much rubbish now if I were out. I'd have been out back now about 4 hours. I would have been chatting so much nonsense in drink and what have you, in a pub with other people. We were just talking nonsense, weren't we? Bank holiday. Well, thank God I'm sober. Can't take it no more being sober. Right. Can I just say on some positive news, I want to thank CANELO for sending that message to Clark Smith, is it? Joe G's fighter. For somebody at Canelo's ilk and standing in the sport of boxing to take time out to do that for somebody who's just turned over recently. I think that's fantastic. I think that's really, really good. I'm sure Eddie Hills, the 5-0 Iceman from Billericay, free by way of, but no footage. I'm sure Eddie Hills will be over the moon that Canelo's devoting some of his time today to send Joe G fighters messages. That'll go down like a lead balloon. So well done, Canelo. But he's still a drug cheat. So see Bricktop's come out on a Daily Star. He's going on about Eddie Hills hammering him, saying that Dylan White knocks Fury out, Wilder knocks Dylan White knocks Fury out, Wilder knocks Fury out, and AJ knocks Usyk out twice. Well, didn't happen, did it? None of it happened. AJ were like stuck in glue, one in both fights. Totally outboxed, outmaneuvered. You could give him 5 rounds, couldn't you? I had a 24. 6 if you were an AJ diehard. But oh, Joshua. That's all you give him in it, really, with rounds. That's all you could give him, couldn't you, really? And Dylan White, well, he went from a lone wolf, to a poodle. Isn't that right, Dylan White? The can man. Anybody who wants it, King Garrett. So Bricktop, back on top, back on his perch, where he belongs, so he thinks, but he's riding high, Bricktop, isn't he? Bricktop's riding high, and Arsenal are leading the way, aren't they, in the Premier League? Bricktop's never had it so good, has he? Go on, Bricktop, lad. Go on, Bricktop. Keep that knee of yours pressed on Eddie Hill's neck. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what we've got here. Yeah. Somebody said to me, if Eddie Hill's the 5-0 Iceman, we're ripping through the division, back in the day when his dad had his own production company and all this and still are. So they're ripping through divisions. 4-0, obviously we've got the actual footage of him fighting Frank Smith, who we beat him up, didn't he? But these fights where Eddie's icing people at an amateur level at super heavyweight. When Eddie were ripping through amateur scene, I want to know why Terry Edwards didn't sign him up, because he were ripping through amateur scene at the same time that David A and Carl Froch were at GB team. So they could have all been teammates, couldn't they? David A, Carl Froch and whatnot, couldn't they? I think that's a bit strange, that really, that nobody discovered Eddie, with his dad being a top promoter worldwide, and access to all gyms and that, and trainers and all shows, and access to all media and that, and Eddie ripping through the division. I mean, I know kids now who fight it that way, and they've had like 2 fights, and people are already making noises about him. But Eddie were ripping through the division, putting people into orbit. But no, it's happening, is it? So it's all a bit strange. I find it a bit strange. A bit like this tripod someone's giving me here to sit up here. I find it strange looking into this camera instead of looking at telly. Well, it's strange, isn't it? Bit odd. But it is what it isn't. As Spencer Juggiers Oliver, has he apologised to fans for his comments and bias of that, like I've never seen before. Personally, my own personal opinion, and I'm not the first person to say this. Personally, I think they thought they weren't being filmed. So that's why a lot of it they were whispering and leaning over and that. They didn't think they were being interviewed. That's what I think personally. But if they weren't being interviewed, they were caught, weren't they? They were caught being biased. If they knew they were being interviewed, they don't care, do they? They don't care coming out with that. Or are these people that removed from the rest of us, what's going on in society? They don't understand. They're in like a bubble, they're in like this fame little bubble, aren't they? I don't know. It's very strange. But he hasn't come out and apologised. But I'm not bothered about that because Simon Jordan basically he put him on beat, didn't he? So go and get yourself out there in that red light area, you. You're going to work for me tonight. Simon Jordan didn't put up with it, did he? He is the man. Simon Jordan and Julian McGowan speak very well on social media and in front of a camera. Very, 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 very clearly. Very direct. They don't swear like me. I lose my cool. They've got integrity, and I think Simon Jordan and Julian McGowan could basically run British Boxing Board of Control top to bottom. Look at that organisation Julian works for. He's been there 30 years, structured it all. Julian McGowan could structure British Boxing Board of Control. He's got some great ideas, but the rot's got to go. They've all got rigor mortis, and they've got to go. We need change. It's been an old boys club for too long. It's an illegal old boys club as well. What's gone on there is illegal. There's nothing to stop anybody else coming and setting an honest organisation up to govern boxing, but the promoters probably not going to want that, are they? Do you think Eddie Hearn, Bricktop, and all the rest of them, do you think Dennis as well included in that, do you think they want this board of control gone and a new lot in? No, they don't want that. They want it just as it is. Like I just said to you before, I'll say it again. Promoters run boxing. I wish I could really, really come out here and really, really say what I want. I'm going to save it for book one day when I'm about 80, but look, we want change. They don't want change, the promoters. They don't want it to happen. They'll have a moan about it when they're not getting their own way. But 6, 7 times out of 10, they get their own way. So they don't want change. So they'll do it. Can you imagine what that will do if we kick Board out and go somewhere else? I mean, Bricktop's happy with him at the moment, isn't he? Because he looks like he's back on his perch, doesn't he? But he weren't happy when he had to go to Luxembourg for a license for David A and Chisora. So I don't know, but the government need to step in, don't they? They didn't even give boxing any funding, did they? I mean, how bad's that? How bad is that? Do you know what I mean? Big shout out to Ziggy's Gym in Rotherham. All right, Ziggy lad in Masborough. Big shout out to Scott Brunt. Hope you got home safe from Jersey. Chocolate ones at best, I think. Oh. Pushing like mad to get to 11 stone. I'm nearly there. The boasting is bothering me. The boasting and the preening and the arrogance from Spencer Juggiers Oliver. That's right, you Juggiers who don't come on here. You don't come on here, you. Why are you coming out now bragging about that you were the man that brought it all on or set it all up, whatever, these YouTube fights, KSI and this and that. What a legacy to be left with, that, isn't it? Hello, I'm Spencer Oliver, and I sold my soul because I ended up with nothing out of boxing, and I'm bitter. That's you, Spencer Fearon. Spencer Oliver, sorry. Spencer, I keep getting you mixed up. So, Spencer Oliver. That's you, isn't it? Right. Bragging off about that. What's there to brag about that? Tipping boxing upside down and not thinking about it long term. I have a problem with that. I have a massive problem with it. Massive. No, so that's just how I feel. I mean, why would you want to brag about that? You want to keep that quiet unless you're lying in your pockets, which you have been doing. But I don't know. But what I think we're missing at the moment is we're missing a Coogee Bear interview with Eddie Hills, aren't we? The 5-0 Iceman from Billy Ricky. Free by way of no footage. We're missing a Coogee Bear Monday sermon. Is it Monday Mass? The Monday Mass, isn't it? That's what we're missing at the moment, the Monday Mass. Yeah. So Eddie Hills, come on, and Coogan, you've been quiet 10 days now. Normally we can't shut you people up after a Joshua fight. It went a little bit pear-shaped, didn't it, this one? Just a little bit. We're cherry on top. Isn't that right, Eddie Hills? No Monday Mass. We've had the Dave Caldwell Sunday sermons and all the rest of them. We've had note from Big Meech, so have we, or Eddie Hills, the Iceman. We've had nothing, have we? Hey, we've had nothing from them. Hey, oh, we've heard from Spencer Oliver. Keep getting mixed up with Spencer Fearon. Spencer Oliver, we've heard from him, haven't we? Yeah, we've heard from him going on about exhibitions, YouTube, white collar, and his involvement and all that, and how he brought it for. Well, Spencer, why don't you tell everybody how much you made? Because I know on the first one I do. Why don't you tell everybody? You're not shouting that about, hey, what you made on it, are you? When we end up with your body on slap with these dodgy matchups that you're doing, because it will happen, because you'll get some YouTuber who's not that good and he ain't trained, and you'll get somebody who's a proper athlete who can bang but never really went pro. That's when you're going to have a problem. When you've got a body on slab, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But when you've got a body on slab, people like you are going to run miles, aren't you? Oh, it was signed off to fight and all that. I never signed it off. Doctors did. People like you disappear, don't you? Alcoholics like you disappear. That's how I look at it. But what can you do? It's one of them things, isn't it? But the silence is golden, isn't it, at the moment? It's just golden, isn't it? Right? Nobody's doing a thing, are they? Nobody's saying a word. Nobody dare do out. Nobody dare say out in case it's something that's been said and it's wrong and it gets back to Joshua, because all eyes are on everybody now, aren't they? You can't let away with out now, you know. All eyes are on Eddie Hills now, what he's going to say, how he's going to word it. I bet there's been some of this old paper screwing and throwing down up for, oh, we can't say that, we can't say that, we can't say that. Nobody dares say no, dare they? All them that bared the souls after the fight, the media people and all that, they've been rinsed, haven't they? They've all crawled away, haven't they? They've all crawled away, majority of them. Some of them just love it because they're narcissistic, they want to be out there. They all crawled away, didn't they? Hey? A couple of them have tried to explain the cards and they look for a bit of backup. But deep down, we really know what went on, don't we? They tried to rob Usyk out there. The gloves with ring size, you name it. They've tried to unsettle that kid, hitting him in nuts. Didn't bother him, did it? What were it, 24 seconds, and he carried on. They give him 5 minutes, didn't they? What's that, 300 seconds? That's, what's that, about 8%? He took 8% of that time when he could have waited another 92% because he wanted Joshua not to have a rest. He wanted to keep the pressure on him, didn't he? Make him work, get his heart rate up, knowing that deep down he's going to falter and straight. Remember what I said to you about the hare and the tortoise? Well, that's a little bit like the Formula One race, isn't it? You know, they all fill the cars up at the beginning, or is it Le Mans? They fill the cars up, don't they, and stuff like that. If you haven't got enough fuel for a race, you've got to keep stopping, haven't you? Then you're going to lose position, aren't you? You know what I mean? Joshua can fight for 1.5 minutes in a round. Then he needs a round off. Then he's looking for rest at round. Then he needs a round off. That's not good, that. Who's training this guy? All these people around him. How many is there? 40 odd people he flew out. His own team. And that goes on. Maybe a few sponsors and that, but 40 odd people. There ain't one strength and conditioning guy in there saying, hey, listen, I'm not being funny, mate, but you're not a 12-round fighter. Joshua knows in his head that's why he's trying to make excuses, making out he'd done the 12 rounds. He did them clinging on for dear life in both fights. He's not a 12-round fighter. He can't be as explosive as he wants to be because he'd run out of gas. Can you imagine him against Tyson Fury? A 20-round fighter. Tyson used to spar 20 rounds with big gloves on. Rotate sparring partners. So if he can do that and fight loose and not force it and be laughing and joking after, what's Joshua going to do? Because he nearly collapsed in here at Tottenham Hotspur after that 12-round one, the first one. So he'd be no good, wouldn't he? Big old stiff. Zhang, Yui Fury, Dylan White, Chisora, Ergovic. It's 5 people there. I think it'd be one of them. They're talking Wilder, but they're not going to go near Wilder. What would happen if Wilder connects on him? Well, they're going to do give him a 2-fight deal to fight Wilder. He might not see second fight. He needs a break. Sack everybody around you. Sack the lot. That's what he needs to do. Sack the lot. Get your cap. And you know what you do then, don't you? You go cap in hand. You get it like that. And you go to that EIS, like that, to McCracken. And you go, please take me back. That's what you do. But will McCracken take you back? It's damaged, isn't it? And is Joshua too stubborn? Yeah. But Eddie Hills has had his hand in this, and he's getting rid of McCracken. Oh, yeah. That's what promoters do. Promoters whisper in fighters' ear, maybe you need to change your trainer, but it's not up to me. It's your choice. You're putting it in his head. Does he need to change a trainer? Well, what are they going to teach him at 33? 33 in a couple of weeks. He'll be 33 and a half by the time he fights again. It's a little bit too late then to learn how to jab, innit? Or move your head. Should have been moving his head from day one. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. That's it if I can get this in here. Oh, well, that's about it, really. I hope everybody's had a good bank holiday. Thanks for watching Porky's Corner. Okie dokie. Keep them comments coming. Keep them comments coming. Make me laugh, them comments. Enjoying them. A lot of crybabies in there, though, weren't they? But keep them coming because we couldn't do this without you lot. Okie dokie. When Cameron blocks you, what I want you to do, I want you to think about me when you're setting your new accounts up. Okie dokie. I think Porky had us blocked. Peace out.